Look, we have an undocumented population the size of the population of the state of Ohio. We have to make decisions, prioritize who we go after.
One of the items that may be up for consideration in the lame duck session of Congress is called the DREAM Act, but it is a nightmare for some opposed to citizenship for illegal aliens.
They pledge allegiance to our flag. They are Americans in their heart, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper.
For those that come here illegally, the idea of giving them in-state tuition credits or other special benefits I find to be contrary to the idea of a nation of law.
Wanting him to address the issue of securing our borders, and to do this, in my opinion, is just backdoor amnesty.
It's an incredible story. The family of an 18-year-old claims after the failure of the DREAM Act, he became despondent over his undocumented status. And then committed suicide.
It's a very sad story of one dreamer, as they call them, the undocumented children in the U.S. that have been here for many, many years, finish high school, some of them are top of their class, and see that as the end of the road. And right after he committed suicide, the school counselor came to the parents and gave them the acceptance letters he had gotten to Texas A&M and the University of Texas Pan American. But at the same time, let's say he would have received that and gotten excited. Now what? He's not documented.
My parents brought me into this country when I was 3. Ever since I was little, I've always been into school. I've been a huge nerd and I loved school. And then I always knew I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know like that was going to be an issue for me until probably around 8th grade or freshman year when I found out, well, that I was undocumented. And I didn't know what that meant until like I started hearing everything about it on the news. And oh, these illegal immigrants, which I don't like being called illegal because I'm not. I got involved with the Dreamers as a freshman when I got inducted into the SBSLI program. In 2010, the DREAM Act wasn't passed, but this year we're working really hard on it to get it passed. We've had a couple of rallies here in like Harrisonburg, like downtown, and I led my first one this summer. That was very exciting. I know I'm just a teenager, but I can also make a difference. And like through that, I've helped my friends see also like, oh, well, I know you guys are just high schoolers, but you guys can still help. And then so through that, I've gotten like other people aware of like the like the Dreamers basically, and then like immigration requirements.
You guys haven't even started.
You guys don't even have mentors.
Yeah.
Spaces. So what we were thinking about doing was in the middle we were going to set up this main chalk drawing, right?
In the middle?
Yeah, in the very middle. And we're going to have like information about Diego Rivera and other artists from Mexico. That's what we're going to do tonight, make like the display boards. We're also going to have information about the program, SLY. And then we want to break up the day into activities. And so from...
Okay, we have the main one in the big space and then other ones.
They've had to do this politically, you know, when they talk to people and they ask them about, tell me about your DREAM Act story, but they've never had to do it with a passing audience.
Oh, my best friend is Griffin. Well, he's one of my best friends. I've known him since I was 5. My aunt lives right there. And I used to live here. This is my favorite tree ever. I wanted to take it with me when I moved, but my aunt lives here now. Like from what I know, we were like the richest people in town because like my dad would work so hard to send us money, and my brother had like the first Jordans in Mexico. Like people breaking into cars and people breaking into houses. I know my house got broken into, so it happened. And then like police would come around here. There are a lot of kids. Since my brother works in construction, I wake up to make him his lunch in the morning. so I wake up like at 5.
How many hours do you get a night?
If I'm lucky, I get like 6. So yesterday I got 4. I'm in the BRCC program. So basically that's where you graduate with your associate's degree from BRCC as a high schooler. So that's really difficult, but I'm still going through it. And I have DACA, because I have an older brother who's 23, but he also has DACA. And so we're not like permanently legal, because that's not what it's about.
Deferred action basically means deferral of consideration of deportation, right? So deferred action is not a prejudgment on whether or not somebody should or should not be deported and on what timetable, right? Deferred action is rather a statement that freezes that whole set of considerations and judgments as a matter of our country's immigration policy.
It's like we live in a trailer. Like, it's not bad. I like them, but I want to like give her her own house because she's a clean freak and she likes to keep everything nice. So like for her to have her own house, like my mom was Catholic, my dad was too. Like they met in a Catholic church. Like she was a catechist and then he like I guess took classes there or something. But that's how like they all met, and then they're Catholic, and then we were raised Catholic. My friend, she took me to her church, and like her church is much smaller and it's like very God-oriented, and it's like it just makes me feel like at home. So then I started to go there and I stopped going to the Catholic church. It really does get hard sometimes because to have all of that like on my plate, and then like I also have like other stuff like as a teenager because we all go through things.
I think it's important that we put ourselves in the shoes of the youth population, because the youth populations affected find themselves in a very difficult situation in which they're required to go to school. They came to a society because their parents moved to the society. Not only did they not really have legal standing, but for the most part they didn't have much of a say in the decision to change countries, and now they're here. They're required to go to school, but they do so with a big cloud over their heads of what will their future status be. But it's also important that we realize that that uncertainty doesn't just affect that young person and their brothers and sisters or their family members more broadly. It affects the schools, it affects the local community, and in that sense we're all affected. Even for the people that think about that situation and they think, but I didn't come to the United States without sufficient documentation or permission, I'm not really them, they don't affect me. The fact of the matter is that that situation does affect all of us.
I needed Social Security to get into university, and even basically like if I get a scholarship, I won't be able to receive it because of my lack of Social Security. So I really don't know what I do. I hadn't thought of that question. I guess work, but then again, maybe work illegally since I don't have a Social Security. It's kind of a lose-lose.
What kind of jobs would you look for?
Probably, I don't know, fast food? Because I know a lot of people do that, or they'll get a fake Social Security, which is really dangerous, but people still do it. If I wouldn't be able to go to college after, and having to do all of that stuff, like ever since a young age, I was always into like higher classes and all of that, and then like college classes already in high school, it would feel really devastating because I've done so much, and then to find out, oh, you can't go to college after all you've done, I feel kind of really bad because I worked so hard for it. Like my A's and my B's and no C's, it was kind of like I tried my hardest, and then to like see them say, oh yeah, you can't go to college, sorry, I'd probably like cry like a baby for a couple years. my friend, it was kind of sad because I always try to tell him, hey, like, do good in school, you know, because he's older. He was going to be a senior this year, but instead he just dropped out because he decided to, since he saw, like, he is undocumented as well, and he doesn't really, I think his parents are in Mexico, and he just, I guess, gave up in a sense because he's like, oh, well, I'm illegal, and, like, even if I try, I'm forced to work in the poultry plants. And so recently he just, I think it was yesterday, he left to Mexico and he dropped out of high school. But I think he said, I saw on his Facebook status, he said that he was leaving even though he still felt accomplished because he got accepted into a university, but of course he can't follow up the position because he doesn't have a social security. And so that was kind of sad to me because, you know, he's my friend and I wanted him to stay, and it's really sad because he has cousins and his cousins are starting to think the same way. And they don't have DACA, but I couldn't really tell him, like, yeah, like, don't leave, everything's gonna be okay. If he knows, like, it might not be okay.
Sendas por los